You can find some of my videos in MP3 form at JasonGallant.ca.
So today I thought it would be interesting to speak about freedom versus ideals. Now, the spirituality that I'm teaching is freedom. Freedom from the expectations of others, freedom from your own expectations, freedom from some idealism that is in any one society or structure at the time. You know, freedom from judging yourself based on not measuring up to these ideals. That's really what I'm speaking about. And I'm even speaking about freedom from spiritual ideals. I'm not speaking about enslaving you into some sort of obligation of being a certain way or acting a certain way or saying the right words at the right time, you know, because all this stuff is just a template based on mind, but it's not necessarily heart. An actor on a screen can really convince you that love is happening in a scene, but that doesn't mean love is really happening. There may be actions that are mimicking love in that scene, but that doesn't mean that the actor is experiencing love in that moment. And that's really what this spiritual thing is about. It's about experiencing that love within, regardless of whether you're meeting the expectations of others or not. Now, recently I had somebody contact me and ask me some questions, and they felt that I was obligated to answer because I'm a spiritual person. And that's what a spiritual person would do, is that they work for free and they sacrifice themselves, you know, for other people, and no matter how menial or large the task, they should just do it because that's what's expected of them. And I will say to you, I am not bound by those desires of others. You know, people have these desires. I mean, perhaps you have met people before that say, you should be this, you should do this, you should meet my expectations. And you probably have suffered because perhaps you couldn't, or perhaps the situation at the time didn't allow you to be able to do so. But really what's going on here is that the person that is putting the expectations upon you is in suffering. They are in the suffering of desire. And desire has to do with the misconception that happiness exists in obtaining something or forcing something or controlling something. So it is pretty common for spiritual teachers to get waves of this desire coming at them because the teacher is actually trying to help a student free themselves from this game of desire. It's kind of like a parent freeing their baby from the desire for more ice cream and more sugar all the time. You know, at some point the parent has to say, no, this isn't going to help you. In the long run, this is going to harm you. So they have to say no. And of course the baby hates that, but that's the only way to free the baby from destroying their own health. So what I'm saying to you now is that in the spiritual paradigm based on truth, based on the discovery of truth of what is really inside you, it isn't about playing the game of meeting the fears and anxieties and worries of other people. If you have to become free of your own worries, your own fears, your own anxieties, and see through the illusion of those, why would you have to play the game of pleasing people that are stuck in that game still? The spiritual path is about freedom, not about constriction. It's the opposite of what many people think the spiritual path is about. Many people think it's about coming up with a bunch of rules, but they're spiritual rules now, and we will constrain everybody in our sight, including ourselves, in those rules. And it's about freedom. And when you're free from the rules here, you see the heart opens up. Then your natural movement is in alignment with the divine Dharma, which is the movement of the forces of the universe at play, right? You become more in alignment. Some of you notice this when you have moments of synchronicity. You just start to tap into the grid. You start to be in alignment with a greater collective. But it's beyond the collective of society. It is a universal collective. So seek freedom first. Let go of ideals. Seek freedom and then see what the heart speaks to you. And the heart is very much about freedom. Freedom is an experience within. But if you're looking outwards and saying, this must happen, that person should be this way, this should be that way, that means you're seeking your happiness externally, and that's not going to free you, because there's always going to be something different that we can play or change outside. You can have fun with that. I'm not saying you can't do that. You can have fun with it, but it's not going to be where your freedom is. Find your freedom within. Seek that first. Then whatever you do on the outside is fine. Sometimes you'll have conflict, or you'll have lots of things happen in your life, and that's just part of micromanaging this physical body. Kind of like micromanaging your car. You get oil changes on it and you do things with it, but at least your happiness is not tied up in the ups and downs of the life of the car. Okay? So freedom's within. You don't have to be anything in particular except what you naturally are. So don't fall for the spiritual trap of people saying, you're spiritual, you should be this too. Because there are many spiritual people that fall for that trap from time to time. So I hope this helps. Take care for now.